We will call the meeting to order late at 7:01 and 30 seconds. Let us please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In that moment of silence. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. All right. Joe, I turn to you with my question as to whether or not anyone has signed up for public comment ahead of the meeting. Excellent. Okay. And I will skip, and we will get right to our consent agenda. That's our first item of business on our agenda, and it is the minutes from the January 22, 2024 Mayor and Town Council meeting. I will, before asking for a motion to call for approval, say that I will be abstaining as I was absent from that meeting.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
All right, so the motion to approve the consent agenda has been made by Councilman Grassley and seconded by Councilman Schofield. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
And that's not me, just that was a motion for you to know what that was supposed to look like. Any opposed? And I shall abstain. So the consent agenda is passed. That brings us to a first item of unfinished business. It's the public hearing as well as to consider, discuss, and act on ordinance number 2024-02. Fiscal year 2024 budget revision. Slow down, Stace. The item summary I'll just throw out there, and then I'll turn to Joe. I know that this was introduced. This ordinance was introduced last meeting, so this will be a review for everyone. And as we progress throughout the fiscal year, several budget categories need to be adjusted to properly account for current and expected revenues and expenses for the remainder of fiscal year 24. This document includes an overall increase in revenues and expenditures of $197,160. Joe, you want to hit the high point for us?
Yes, ma'am. So again, there were no changes between the introduction and today. So again, this is the exact document that was presented last meeting. Just some highlights on the revenue side. Some of the bigger line item changes are included in the intergovernmental category, mainly income tax. So as most people know, we budget income tax on a 5-year rolling average. When we prepared the budget, we did not have the FY23 numbers. Now that we do, we were able to bump that number up a little bit. In service fees, rents had to be decreased mainly because of the new lease with the station building. Had to go down because obviously we're in the abatement period of that particular lease, so we're not going to be collecting any additional rents this year. This fiscal year. And then in the miscellaneous category, we had both two adjustments. One, increase in interest, so our investments that we have for our current bank accounts are actually performing quite well. Current investments are performing quite well. And then we've decided to tap into the unrestricted fund balance so that we can offset our zoning rewrite process. So there was $75,000 already budgeted in current fiscal year. We're just offsetting that with the revenue out of the unencumbered balance.
Excellent.
As far as expenditures, most of the changes was included in professional services to account for our legal fees with ongoing legal matters that are stacking up. The administrative side of things are mainly related to the server upgrades that the council approved a few months back. So now we're starting to see some of those bills come due. In public safety, it's actually not on the list. I do just want to point it out because there were several line item changes in the public safety department. However, those were all offset by reduction in salaries. So the police department's down one officer. We've been down one officer all fiscal year. So again, that was just reduced to offset some of the increases in some of the other line items. Mm-hmm. Public works and sanitation, really just a change from removing the Raincliff tax rebate to adding the Parkside tax rebate, just a kind of a flip-flop there. And then in streets and roads, that was increased to cover the contract we now have to collect the Raincliff trash and recycling. Most of the other items are pretty minor in nature, but obviously if anybody has any specific question about any of those line items, I'm happy to answer them. And then that being said, obviously after the public hearing, staff is recommending adoption as presented.
Thank you, Joe. Does the council or any member thereof have a question for staff regarding this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2024-02.
Thank you, Councilman Grassley.
Second.
And the motion is seconded by Councilman Dyer. All in favor of opening the public hearing for ordinance number 2024, ordinance number 2024-02, fiscal year 2024 budget revision, please say aye.
Aye.
And that's everyone. Anyone opposed? All right, so the public hearing on ordinance number 2024-02, fiscal year 2024 budget revision is now open. Are there any members of the public that would like to make comment on this ordinance? You guys are just here for fun. Fantastic. All right, well then.
Was there any emails, Joe, by any chance?
We got no communication regarding the budget revision.
Okay.
That's good.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing of ordinance number 2024-02.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. So the motion is made by Councilman Grassley and seconded by Councilman Dyer to close this public hearing for ordinance number 2024-02, fiscal year 2024 budget revision. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so the public hearing is now closed approximately 45 seconds after it opened. I didn't announce the time when we opened it, but it was 7:06, and it is now 7:07. Okay, so at this point, we have an opportunity to discuss amongst ourselves anything further about this ordinance or any questions for staff. Okay, so that at this point, we are looking for a motion to adopt ordinance number 2024-02, fiscal year 2024 budget revision.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Grassley. Anyone with a second? And Council President Carter with the second. No further need for debate, I take it. So with that, I will call for a vote. And the motion on the table is to approve and adopt ordinance number 2024-02, fiscal year 2024 budget revision. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ordinance is adopted. Okay.
Thanks again, Craig, for putting everything in the Excel spreadsheet, and
Joe does most of that.
it's so easy to read what we're doing. So I
In fact, he
appreciate
sends
that.
it in PDF, not Excel.
Oh boy. We need to save it in 2 file formats and share just the one to.
No, I'm messing with him because I convert myself. But.
Okay. So Joe, thank you for dragging and dropping those figures. All right. So this brings us to our first item and only item of new business, item number 3 on the agenda, the annual presentation by the Downtown Sykesville Connections Executive Director, Julie Della Maria. Welcome, Julie.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. I know that's a favorite presentation of the
It just might be.
More so than y'all.
Outside of Craig's judgment.
It's prettier than
Well, y'all did. I mean, y'all saw all kinds of pictures.
Just want to make sure before we get there that I have the sound like I want to have it. And yes, it is.
We can look at that Main Street all day.
Okay.
A reprogram on the taskbar.
So good evening again to everyone. Thank you for the one who joined us tonight. This presentation is 2 parts. It's going to be a quick reminder about what the DSC is and what it does. And then we're going to go through our activity report for the year. And we will conclude with a volunteer award. So if there's one word that can summarize what the DSC does, it's placemaking. And placemaking is crafting a venue that makes everyone feel at home. Did I jump up? No, that's correct. So basically, in other words, our assignment is to unite the community in crafting initiatives that celebrates and enhance the unique character of Sykesville for all to enjoy. By employing the Main Street approach, we shape our programs and projects with a focus on authenticity. Our nonprofit framework allows us to effectively manage the Downtown Sykesville connection, organize our team, and secure funding to bring our shared vision to life. So that's a big thing about us. We have 2 hats. We are a nonprofit organization, community service organization, and also a Main Street program. which allows us to benefit from both of the structure. As I just said, we're a Main Street program. In the right side of your screen is a description of what the Main Street approach is. It is centered around transformation strategy, and a transformation strategy articulates a focused, deliberate path to strengthening local economy using the 4-point approach. The synergic activities of economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. This requires a deep understanding of your local market and a sustained and diverse community engagement to adapt and maximize impact. And as it's reflected on the left side of your screen, of the slide, with the Main Street transformation strategy of Sykesville that translated into our strategic plan, that lists the strategic mission of our operational committees to be implemented by our dedicated volunteer. That graphic that you see on the left side is also available on our website. If you click on any of the colored box, it will send you to the project list we have. That linked also to the committee it's related to. So if anyone wants to join any project, feel free to just check that out and let us know. As I said, we also are a non-profit. So we have a guided structure through our non-profit status that help us with governance oversight of the internal activity. And that's what is being done by our board of directors. They steer, they govern the organization while entrusted me and my team with the administration of the downtown Sykesville Connection external operation. The success of this endeavor is deeply reliant on engagement of our passionate and steadfast volunteer task force. So with that graphic, for me, it should be more of a pyramid because the strength is at the bottom. It's really all of our volunteers. Not that our board members are not a part of our strengths, but strength is often in number. But I'm very thankful for those board members, and I want you to meet them on the screen and in real life. We have two with us tonight, so you can meet this remarkable team. That steers the Main Street program. I hold each member in high regard with profound respect and affection. Our journey is different. Some of those people I knew before they joined the board, and they were my friend before that. Some others, our friendships grew through our shared activities. So they are an awesome group of people, and we are lucky to have them. I'm going to now jump to our summary of activity for this past year, starting with the JEDI committee. That you could have observed on the other slide that it calls that committee the organization committee in the National Main Street program. In Sykesville, it's a JEDI committee as we decided that cultural change needs to stem from within. This committee champions our diversity initiative. It's just not a moral obligation in our opinion, but also a pivotal economic strategy. This twofold dedicated... This is twofold. It waves a richer tapestry within our community, but also fuels economic dynamism, fostering an inclusive and thriving environment for everyone. So what we did this year, in summary, we did a lot more than that. I just put the highlight, which was a very successful hackathon that served about 70 children. I took training in equity and inclusion. I graduated from a program as part of the University of Maryland course training. Our board also got a DEI training by a professional that was grant funded and happened in April. The DSC was recognized as one of the 8 best performing Main Street in America by the National Main Street Center, which was quite an accomplishment for a program run in a town with less than 5,000 people. Our JEDI task force created many programs and activities for everyone to feel at home on Main Street, and that got us to be featured on 3 different TV channels in June, and many press articles. And one upcoming event crafted by that committee is a Rhythm of Heritage dance show taking place at Axis Sunday. I strongly encourage you to join us. I just got a list of performers, and it's going to be a very good show. If you cannot make the Sykesville show, you have a second chance next week at the Carroll County Arts Council for a longer show with a more diverse performance, including rappers, a choir, and live music.
Was that on purpose?
Yes,
Great.
I forgot about that. I told you we made it to the National Main Street selection of semi-finalists. So we went in fourth. Joe was there, Link was there, the town manager was there, and I wanted you to see how many people that is. That conference is 3,000 to 4,000 people every year. All Main Streeters committed to the same program and betterment of their community.
And Boston's first female and Asian American mayor was also in attendance, and I got to meet her.
Is that the one you chased down the hall?
It is the one I chased down the hall, yes, that it was.
So moving on to design committee. Our design committee is dedicated to sculpting the visual and practical attributes of Main Street, magnifying its allure and historic essence to safeguard our town's unique identity. By embellishing and strategically orchestrating our communal space, the effort of our volunteers resonate deeply, instilling local pride and propelling economic progress. The big accomplishment of this year is funded partially by the Carroll County Art Council, where the creation of a hometown banner program, from the design of the application to the collection of the material, the design of the banner to the celebration after putting them on Main Street. We had the pleasure to have some of you with us, and they proudly stayed there until we took them down for the season on Veteran Day. It was a choice because they get weathered very fast when they stay over the winter, and we also don't have that many spaces for our attributes, so we needed to put up the holiday decoration. They will come back out on Memorial Day. But in the meantime, just to be able to enjoy them all year long, we created a story map that has, where we were also able to collect more emotional and deeper material from the family, and that's going to be published very soon. Economic Development Committee this year, it's the forefront of fostering strategic growth and investment in Sykesville through cutting-edge programs and collaborations that enhance economic vibrancy. You can see that committee focused on securing many different grants. In addition, created diverse promotional program for the downtown merchants that are pictured there at a meeting with our staff and board members. We had the visit of Jake Day over the summer that confided in the mayor and I that we were the best Main Street that they visited.
That's what I heard. That's what he said.
Yes, so we created small program like the Made on Main. That was a 8 weeks online program that got an incredible traction, and that was featuring everything that's made on Main Street and the business is coming from, and it climaxed on the Shop Saturday day where we reminded everyone what they could find that's so unique and so specific of Sykesville. So that was a very fun program. We took care of our holiday decoration, put them up, make sure that all the bulbs were on, and did a various printed advertisement for the merchant of Main Street in different publications. There's one on this slide here. We also made cute little videos. This one is for Councilman Kennan, because I know that's one of his favorite.
Roderick.
To try to see. Sometimes it's the little things.
It's the benefit of having a street close to traffic. You get to play in it like that. Yeah.
So we currently have a billboard in the Fitchburg area, and we're working on a variety of different programs, including coupon code into the neighboring hotel, where we're going to start creating tourism packages, either historic or using different themes. Our Green Committee navigates Sykesville towards a greener future. Our focus is on initiatives that foster sustainable living and environmental care. We are dedicated to enhancing the town's inherent beauty and advocating for practices that contribute to a healthier, more sustainable existence for generations to come. We have our upcoming planning meeting at Cape Pearl Tea Room in a few weeks, and in the meantime what we have accomplished this year was mostly maintaining the different gardens and having educational sessions with our master gardener for the youth. Good bug, bad bug, identify peppers, things like that. This garden is also watered by our fantastic farmers market volunteer every Sunday. Finally, the one that everyone knows the most about because it's the most prominent one is our promotional committee, elevating Sykesville profile and allure. We design events and marketing campaigns that not only attract visitors but also bolster local businesses. We're committed to shaping a welcoming community spirit that honors diverse cultures, legacies, and cultivate fresh, unforgettable experiences. So I think the mayor is on many of those pictures, at least 3.
Well, one of them you can't tell it's me, right?
Only a trained eye could tell.
That's a cat in a hat. If I ever saw one.
Only a trained eye could tell.
So we had a beautiful calendar of events in 2023. In 2024, we're bringing back the favorites. So we're going to try to stay steady with the number of events we're offering the community. And we really are appreciative of the town staff support, of the police department support, and public works support for all of those events that bring thousands of people in downtown Sykesville. What are we doing next year, you may wonder. We are going to have our strategic planning retreat in 2 weeks. We're going to the National Main Street Conference again on May 6th to 8th in Birmingham, Alabama. We would gladly take a civic leader with us to be part of that wonderful event that explains so much about the Main Street program and its impact. We are focused this year on completing the renovation of our building and finally getting in it and getting tenants in it, and continuing our commitment to inclusivity and community engagement. We have 2 major art projects in the making, the Doors of Sykesville and a complimentary art class in partnership with Acts Fair Haven. And we aim to continue strengthening our partnership with the town of Sykesville, its residents, and the exceptional group of downtown businesses. Now, Mary was supposed to be here with me tonight, but she's not. So I'm going to do that by myself. But I have the pleasure to have recognition award for 3 amazing volunteers. One of them volunteered at the farmers market 32 times in a row, and we could not do it without those guys. So I have awards that I'd like to have the help of the mayor to donate and maybe a little photo op. So I have recognized some of our volunteers right there. Elizabeth Eakins. I hope that I did not say that incorrectly.
You can say Elizabeth Aiken. She's good. So that's just her accent. She said it perfectly, right? Yeah. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Congratulations. And keep up the good work. You know what volunteers become? Strong business women. All right.
And
Whatever it is you want to do.
We also have here tonight Hayden Abra. Worked really hard, helped me with that giant sunflower in the gardens that I could not pull out by myself.
Hayden, this is your certificate. I think somebody wants a picture. Sorry. No worries, not at all. Congratulations, Katie. Keep up your good work, buddy.
And the last one was, but she's not here.
Oh, okay.
It was Mary's daughter, Makila Castle, who was there at each and every farmer's market helping her mom. So they did an awesome job this year. And that's it for us. Thank you for your attention. And I will take any question if you have any.
I said to Leo, I asked Leo, I was just wondering if we could get into the building after you get it all done,
Oh, yeah,
before you
for
run it
sure.
out. If we could have a tour.
Oh, believe me, there will be some bragging.
Okay. Grand opening.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt.
That'd be
An open
great.
house just for the council? I can
Yeah,
feel
yeah, oh
it
yeah,
now.
no, we
Yeah.
definitely will
That'd be
do
great.
that, and with a little cocktail hour with
Fantastic.
everybody. Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
That'd be great.
Thank you for your updates and all of your progress and all you guys do. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Keep up the
Thank you
good
for your
work.
help
Forward
doing
to
it.
a successful 2024.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yes. So that brings us to our announcements and reports. I'll begin with the first of those. The next meeting is Monday, February 26th, 2024. And second announcement is that we have volunteer opportunities available on the Historic District Commission, the Parks and Recreation Commission, the Planning Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals, as well as an opening for a crossing guard. And always the Police Auxiliary welcomes any interest. If anyone is interested in any volunteer opportunities for the town, please email town@sykesville.net for more info. Brings us to staff updates, so I'll start with our town manager, Joe.
Just a few ones. I know at the last meeting, it was requested that we talk a little bit about the station building, kind of where we stand with that application. So, we are still gathering information to make sure we put our best foot forward with the Maryland Historic Trust. I guess our initial submission to the MHT folks was very broad, and it was not met with the kind of welcoming that we were hoping it would be. So again, we just wanted to make sure that we get as much details as possible before we submit anything formally. So I did share some information with council late last week, just to kind of show you kind of where we are, kind of where we're heading, and we're still working. I know the Liberatory Group is still working very diligently to make sure they have that dialed in as much as they can before we make that formal submittal. So we're hoping here in the next maybe 2 weeks or so that we have that dialed in, and then can get something to the state.
Joe, on that topic, is there there's no construction schedule, there's no any schedule for
No.
opening until we navigate that process, correct?
Right, until we get clear direction from the Historic Trust,
Yeah.
we don't really know how long construction would last until we know what we can
Yeah.
do.
And then what's the typical process for getting through MHT? Maybe, I don't know that.
They do have regular meetings, so it's once we get the information to them, we're hoping. I want to say it's it's either a 2 or 3 week turnaround. I think typically that they'll make a determination as to whether or not we can move forward.
And we're planning to invite as many of the members of the review committee at MHT as possible to come to the station for a site visit.
Yeah.
So if Director Hughes, you are watching, I'm going to be inviting her as well. And hopefully we can, being in a space and kind of ascertaining what it is that we're trying to accomplish is easier
Yeah.
than reading it on paper. So we'll do a presentation for as many that will arrive for that. So.
Joe, with that, their meetings aren't once a month, they're more regular than once a month?
Okay.
No, I'm asking.
They are.
They are.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think depending on how many applications they actually get, I think they meet, as needed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Any other questions on that? Okay. Just so everybody knows, we do have, so the repairs to the gatehouse porch, our bid opening is tomorrow, assuming the inclement weather being forecasted doesn't push that out. So hopefully we'll have a contract ready for council at our next meeting and get that project kicked off. Another MHT project. So I did mention snow again, so just so everybody knows that there is the forecast for up to 5 inches of snow down here, which is
Yeah, I feel
still
like
don't
that's Sykesville,
understand-
Pennsylvania, because
Still
I haven't seen that.
Don't understand how it's going to snow that much.
They
how
just
it is.
they just delayed schools 2 hours.
Are you kidding?
I am not kidding.
Yeah, it's
You hear it here first, kids.
2 hour delay tomorrow.
Wow.
60 degrees yesterday. Anyway. And then the last thing I have is just another update. I think this was Councilmember Guroff actually asked this last time, was information about speed cameras. So Chief was able to set up a meeting with one of the contractors that handles those types of programs, and we were able to meet with them for an hour or so last week. And again, it really does seem to be a pretty straightforward process. It's just a matter of, do we want it, and do we want to, and where exactly do we want it. So it might be a top of a conversation during our upcoming strategic planning session on this.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe, and thanks for the follow-up on that to Chief when he's feeling better. Let him know we said sick. Thank you.
He's watching.
Oh, he's watching. I doubt it. I would not expect him to be doing that.
Nor I.
Thanks again, Joe. So that brings us to our treasurer's report. Craig, please approach the podium.
Now.
Now, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, public. Feel free, you guys, if you want to embark one to another. This is the treasury report at this point, so it's pretty
It's the highlight of the meeting.
mundane.
This is why they came, Jim.
Yeah.
Craig, yeah.
Yeah,
The
sure.
auditor's report.
Accounting, this is like, oh yeah, bread and butter. Anyway, I'm presenting the January Treasury's report, which reflect our revenues and expenses for the year to date at this point. January was a very quiet month, very quiet. See, I know I get some takers. Feel free, trust me, you're not making me feel pain whatsoever.
It's a school night. Oh, that's right. It's not now.
Yeah, it's not schooling now, no.
Yeah, so they closed, the Carroll government was 2-hour delay.
Really?
Yes.
So schools
And
are
then
closed.
schools 2-hour
Followed
delay.
suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Craig, sorry.
So I just think it's silly. I mean, my science class said anything above 32, water doesn't freeze, but that's okay.
Don't get
Remember
me
in our
started.
day.
That's the
Here
old
we go.
forecasting,
5
this is
feet?
the new forecasting.
Okay.
What delay?
Anyway, back to the treasurer's report. As of the end of January, revenue exceeded expenses by $613,000, which was fueled by the receipt of $607,000 in January for real estate taxes. If you looked at the year-to-date report, you can see where we pretty much have now met the budget in terms of what we expected to receive at this point. We're only shy by like 30-some thousand. With that said, that's probably going to be pretty much it for this year in terms of what we get. As you know, when you get your real estate taxes, you got to pay them September, October, November, December, and then you're late, which we get some of that too, late fees. But so it'll trickle in from here on out, but it won't really. Don't expect gobs of wheelbarrows of money coming in from that particular line item. So. Along with that revenue, we also received $16,000 for Comcast franchise fee. We got $45,000 for highway user revenue, which is really only through October at this point. So obviously, a little behind there, but that's usual. That's nothing to be alarmed about. And also, we got $13,000 in interest income, which has been a pretty good steady flow here lately. On the expenditure side, really not much to report at all beyond just the normal expenses such as salaries and other type of utilities and fuel and internet and all those kind of stuff. Unfortunately, new on the report, after several dormant years, we showed some snow-related expenses, which is unfortunate or fortunate, whatever the case may be. So we incurred a few there, boo. Hopefully tomorrow won't yield anything. I did look my own forecasting, so I got out the Hagerstown Almanac, and it appears in March, between the 6th and 10th, heavy snow is predicted. So
The groundhog lied.
the groundhog lied. So
Never right.
33% of the time.
And he could be 50% because statistically he should be, but he's not.
So, addressing the check register, again, there was really pretty straightforward bills that were paid this month, other than obviously the numerous legal bills that are now showing up on a monthly basis, which is everyone expecting with the Warfield situation going on.
It'll all be worth it. Continue.
Exactly. Other than that, it was, like I said, a very quiet month, nothing really extraordinary to talk about. If anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to field them at this time frame.
Really like the percentages, man. Keep that. That's very helpful.
Mhm.
Really appreciate
We
that.
like pie charts though, more than just.
You like pie charts? You want me to start?
Yeah, please.
Pie chart?
No,
It's all he deals with his charts all day.
You do pie charts, you can do line charts, I mean, what kind of, you
we
got
don't
your
need,
little
we don't need
charts.
pie.
Do 3D type charts,
March 2nd.
PowerPoints,
Yeah.
please don't make me do
You can do that. Do that on the retreat.
Yeah. Have that ready for March too.
it.
Yeah.
Please don't let me have
The whole room.
Write it down.
Wallpaper. Oh no.
VRML,
It's going into
virtual
notebook.
reality.
All right, well, you're cut free, Mr. Treasurer. Thank you for your
Very
report.
good, thanks for taking the time to listen to me, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you. That brings us to our public safety report. And filling in for Chief Spalding is our one and only LT.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good evening.
And good afternoon.
I'll be handling the public safety report from January 15th through February 5th, 2024. And during that time, we handled 683 events, to include 8 assist other agencies, 29 foot patrols, 6 community policing initiatives, 42 traffic enforcement initiatives, 395 patrol checks, 1 parking violation, which I'm happy to say was mine.
All right.
4 accidents, 1 personal injury, and then 3 property damage only. 6 follow-up investigations, 2 disturbances, 1 disorderly, 5 business checks, and 6 assist officer or backup incidents. That's basically all I have. If anybody has any questions about the report that was sent.
If you could review the answers that Chief passed along, or that you passed along for Chief to
Okay.
Al's inquiries, I'd appreciate it.
This is very confusing.
Yeah.
It is a little of a mess. Report ending in 13, we responded to the location there after receiving a phone call from a female resident's ex-husband who had responded there to pick up clothing for her and a child, a minor child. The ex-wife was not at the house. She has a live-in boyfriend. And at some point, the live-in boyfriend went somewhere else and started using illicit drugs. Shows back up. She was uncomfortable about being there with herself and the minor child, so she left, sought refuge with her ex-husband, who went to pick up clothes. When he arrives, he encounters the live-in boyfriend in the bedroom. They have an argument, at which point, sometime during that altercation, he went to the kitchen and grabbed the big butcher knife and threatened him with it. So he left the residence in a hurry and requested the police to respond. Our officers arrive, determined that assault did occur, but as assault didn't occur in our presence, so we can't charge, and it's not domestic related. Part of that investigation, we did find some controlled drug paraphernalia, a straw with white residue in it. So we sent it off to the lab, and then once we get the results of that, then charges will be pending. We had to refer the assault part because it's a simple assault, not a serious assault. As much as pointing a knife at somebody seems pretty serious, but the way the law works, it's not something we could have handled right then and there. Does that make sense?
It does. Thanks for the clarification, Lieutenant.
So, I didn't ask you this, but is there child safety involved with that, with the minor? Did that get referred to that, or?
Well, no, because the minor's not at the house with
Okay.
the gentleman being back. Does that make sense? So
Yep. Okay,
she purposely did not go back there knowing that there was an issue with illicit drug use. So
got it. Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Sorry for the,
No,
no, that's okay. The injury accident related in report number ending 15. That was an injury accident where the at-fault vehicle had some issues with the equipment on her car. Tires were bald. I don't believe she was wearing a seatbelt. Lost control of the car and crashed into another car and had a very serious laceration on her forehead. So much, in fact, that Sergeant Lacey requested the state police bring the advanced accident investigator down just in case it turned into a fatal accident. Thankfully, it did not, but a very, very serious head injury. She was up and walking and talking, but it looked bad. They took her via ambulance to shock trauma where she was, treated and was stable.
Okay.
And the report number ending in 19, that was a patient-on-patient assault involving a dementia patient and then a psych patient from Springfield Hospital. It is my understanding of talking with staff at Birch Manor that the psych patient is problematic, and they're working diligently in having the patient sent back to Springfield. I don't remember what the circumstances were where Springfield sent them to Birch Manor, but Birch Manor's like, it's a safety issue, we're out of here. And I think that they've made traction there. As a result of the incident that was reported, though, they sent her up for an emergency petition. And then the last incident. 21, Sergeant Kirkner was dispatched by the state police to contact a mother. So the people that live at this residence, it's a stepfather and I think there are 4 kids there. A mother and then a stepfather. And then I think the stepfather has his own child. Does that make sense? So 13-year-old was there to babysit a 1 and 2-year-old, didn't want to be there, called mom, come pick me up. Mom couldn't do it, so mom called a friend. The friend responded to go pick him up. And in turn, somebody else responded to watch the 1 and 2-year-old.
Okay.
That's very confusing. I guess.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't sure. Yeah. Okay.
Not
I didn't say
clear.
all that.
Probably easier to talk about it than it is to text it.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Lieutenant, I have one question. It looks like that there was some type of call for an odor over at Sykesville Apartments?
Yes.
Was that the same building where the fire occurred?
The fire occurred at 7405.
No, then it's not.
Let me find my assist other here.
Well, and thank you for the police response to that fire.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures on.
The odor was at 7517, so that was a different.
Just wasn't sure if that was a coincidence that this
No.
was a preempt to.
No, I think the fire was a result of a juvenile in possession of a vape that was under his pillow, and that's what started the fire.
Sad. Thank you for
right.
responding.
Chief Spaulding wanted me to mention that himself and Corporal Barrett and PFC Hop took part of the polar plunge on February the 2nd,
That's why he's sick.
2024. And
Happy days.
thank God that wasn't me.
Right?
Was successful. I think a good time was had by most people. I wouldn't say. And I had the occasion to be at training at the Carroll County Police Academy, so I checked in on our recruit bond, and he seems to be doing very well, progressing well, and they generally like him, so that's good news.
Great.
Not much longer before he's out.
Awesome. Looking forward to his graduation. Yes. April. Yeah.
Thank you, folks.
All right.
Well,
Thanks,
I would like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
It's a good one. I'd like to end on a positive note. Report ending in 0932 where Officer Hopka spoke to a person who's already been in trouble, trying to guide them. That's the kind of thing that maybe we can turn that young person around.
Yeah,
Shows a lot of initiative of her part. I'm
she
very
is
happy to read
she is a
that
good
kind of
egg, that PFC Hopper.
thing. So, yeah, ending on a good note. That's the kind of thing that might make a difference in someone's life.
I will. She's working tonight, so I will. As soon as I'm leaving here, I'll walk over and tell her.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
You will.
Thanks for that, Councilman Dyer. Okay, so that brings us to our council and/or committee / whatever anyone has for the good of the order / from the council. Anything from you, Mr. Keenan?
No, DSA was pretty well covered, but there again, just to highlight the show this weekend, there are still 29 tickets left for the Rhythms of Heritage this Sunday at 3 o'clock. So you can go online and buy your tickets before the rest of them are gone.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Anything?
HTC approved 3 signs via Zoom on a Friday morning, was it? Friday morning, that was exciting.
Zoom on a Friday morning.
Yeah, we didn't have a quorum, so
darn.
it was exciting.
Okay, all right.
That was all that's going on there.
I like the flexibility there, Mr. Liaison. Fantastic. Anything from?
I do not, thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
The planning commission met on February 5th. There was a discussion about the enclave at Parkside. It's the first conversation that we've had in quite a bit of time. It was a preliminary plan, Joe, that was had a conversation. They actually asked in the meeting that we approve the preliminary plan. We ended up not doing that. There will be another meeting in March. Very likely there will be a vote at that meeting to talk about it. Currently, there's still discussion of having 47 townhomes built in that same location. There is an issue in reference to connectivity to the park. So we had conversation around that and seeing if there's anything that they can do to have some sort of connectivity to the park that's down below. And yeah, so that, you know, if you want to get more information, you can take a look at the Plan Commission discussion. And of course, if you have interest in this, then there would be another opportunity in March. We did close out the public hearing that had been open since August, perhaps. So that was maybe the longest public hearing we've had in a while.
That's not happening in this forum, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, so
Something else going on though during that time in the planning commission, wasn't there?
yeah,
I feel like there might
there may have been, right? But it was I think it was just an oversight that we missed up on. But nonetheless, that's closed out in reference to the concept plan, and there will be a couple of other opportunities for the public to weigh in reference to the 47 properties. There's no one here, but there could have been people that were watching. I know that there's a lot of interest in that particular property. One big thing that I'd like you all to just keep attention to, and something that I'm concerned is probably too high because there is a plan that will be available, but maybe I am concerned, I'll just say it that way, is the sediment erosion coming off that property. Everyone's aware of it because you're building on a hill, and of course where the dirt and water will go is possibly down into the property. And as I recall, they're still working on some things in the Parkside property in reference to final approvals.
There's chronic problems over there with water.
And so this would be something that just people need to keep an eye on. And the best thing that can happen, and this is for anyone who lives over there, is that if you see something, say something. And there is contact information for the public to be able to notify the right folks within the county in reference to that space. I imagine that they can call us too, but it's one of those things that calling the county inspectors is actually a better thing to do. And we learned that at the discussion, but wanted to get that out into the space as well. Because, you know, again, we're not looking at construction anytime soon. It's probably going to happen in 2025 at this point, but it's still, you know, even as we're sort of talking through it, it's important that folks understand, and I'll just keep talking about it because I've been worried about it. And, you know, I reported some things that I saw even on the trail when the first Parkside was built. So, anyway.
And so, and this may be, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, this might be too early in the process, and I really haven't been following this part of development, but are we gonna run into the same HOA problems? Okay.
So, and that was brought up in the Plan Commission meeting, is it gonna join the HOA of Parkside?
Right.
And so there's an option, if they have a 2/3 majority vote, that they could join forces and have one big HOA. But what the developer said is that normally that doesn't happen because it's hard to get 2/3 majority vote on something. And so there's you know, I'm not gonna weigh in and tell the HOAs how to operate, but there's going to be different features that each of the properties have. And if they wanted to have one HOA, then they'd be able to share that better. So I'll throw that out there as something to think about, but it's up to them what they want to do.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And the developer's not asking for any allowances or any zoning allowances or anything like that?
No.
Strictly?
They're going right according to our current PEC zoning right now.
Okay.
And the 47 is building to maximum capacity, and the structures are going to be a little bit wider. So that's the major change. That's like the change that's sort of happening. And Kevin's done a really nice job in reference to looking at the pattern book and doing comparisons. And there was a bunch of comments, and all of them were addressed by the developer.
Okay.
So they're maxing out the residential component of the mixed-use development of the PEC zone?
That is correct.
Yes, thank you.
That is correct, ma'am.
Appreciate you.
Yep. And then in the zoning, just to, you know, because if you're not following it, there will be places that they sort of carve out and say for future use for retail or commercial development in the future as we navigate forward. And there will be a rather large flat space that gets developed as recreational space. That's the quote unquote green space that they're supposed to have on the property. And so it doesn't exist today. If you look at it today, it looks like a big hill. Because it is. And they're going to be moving the dirt to that space into a flat area. And that's one of the features that they're going to have, is like sort of this big football fieldish sort of location. You can run dogs or go out and throw a football, frisbee, whatever. And, it's a nice feature to have. But they're not going to have a, like a swing set park.
Yeah, there's no parklet.
No parklet sort of thing there. There is one in Parkside, so,
No monkey bars.
right,
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
that's it.
No, I appreciate that. That's good
I
information.
got one more question.
Oh.
I'm sorry. So I know
Those
that
are
there-
most questions I've got on planning commission.
I
It's
apologize.
exciting.
I have not, I haven't watched the meeting yet, so I apologize
Oh,
for that.
shame.
I know, I feel bad
I too,
about
I
that.
haven't seen it for once either.
Are they continuing trying to get an entrance exit on, Maryland 32? Is that still going on, or has the state said no on that?
I don't know if the state said no, but the
State.
likelihood of that happening is like next to nil.
Okay.
It's very expensive, and there's currently no plans. And the way that the site plan is shown, the way to get to 32 is through Parkside.
Okay.
No other means of
That's what I thought.
access. Yep.
I know they were talking about it for the business component of it, but I was just,
Can I ask for clarification?
Yeah.
When you said that the second phase, this phase is gonna be bigger, do you mean that the space between the buildings are gonna be
Oh.
bigger, or do you think, or were you mentioning the building themselves are bigger?
The buildings themselves, the townhomes are a little wider.
Okay,
And so the Parkside was built somewhere between 20 and 22 feet wide. These are planned to be 24 feet wide. And I don't remember all of the offsets in between the properties, but some of those actually are a little bit smaller for the space in between the properties, as I recall.
In the pattern book, they're mentioned a little bit smaller, but if you actually look at the plan, what's being proposed for the 47 units and what's existing in Parkside are almost identical.
Okay. Thank you.
I just want a clarification on what you meant by
Yeah,
the
I'm sorry.
size is bigger.
Sorry I wasn't more clear.
Thank you, Councilman Schofield. I think you're now finished. I don't believe any more questions are coming from
so, I'm sorry for all the questions.
It's all, I'm here to answer
It's
questions.
why we're here, Councilman Grassley. How about Councilman Dyer? Anything for us?
Not for the group, no.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I heard some exciting news that we might get FiOS.
How did
It's
you,
been highly
how
exaggerated.
did you hear that? Without FiOS, how would you hear about FiOS?
We were hoping for something else, but it hasn't been
Yeah.
announced, so I'm not talking about it. But things
Maybe
are
in a-
gonna get better soon.
Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the end of our agenda. I will announce at this time that we are having a closed session this evening. The meeting is being proposed to be closed pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305B, number 8 in this case, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation, and specifically this evening, pending litigation, Warfield lawsuits. I will call for a 5-minute recess to allow the gallery to clear, and for the public's edification, both in-house and listening this evening. After recess, the council will reconvene and go into executive closed session. Upon completion of our closed session discussions, we will move to vote to return to open session. And then once in open session, if a motion is propounded regarding to our closed session discussion, action will be taken then openly and recorded in the open session minutes, following all the Open Meetings Act regulations. We are now
Motion
going
for
to
a
be-
5-minute recess.
there we go. 5-minute recess. Thank you, everyone. It is 7:55.